Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat Moonchild. I am a psychic, I am a medium, I am also a Reiki master. So today I am here to teach you about the major arcana for tarot. I know that I said I would get this done and hopefully uploaded. I'm also going to be posting another video in the next couple of days that is going to be about the chakra system or the chakra energy system itself, and that's going to be a more in-depth video about chakra system. And I also wanted to do one on astral bodies, and I'm also planning on in the next week or two doing a video on psychic ability and the different kinds of psychic ability and how those things manifest. So thank you for coming back. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't ever miss another video, and let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to be talking about the major arcana today. I am using a different deck than the Gilded, just for clarity's sake and for the picture's sake. This is another deck by Ciro Marchetti. And apparently this is one of his limited edition decks that I was gifted. This has got palaces in it. And it's a little bit different in order and in sequence and in picture and in interpretation and all of that. But we're going to be sticking with the traditional interpretation. Now, one of the reasons why I'm actually kind of excited about talking about the major arcana today, just so you know, there's 22 major arcana, 56 minor arcana. I don't think I ever said that, for a total of 78 cards in a traditional tarot deck. Some start at 0, like this one, the Fool, which is always the first card in tarot, or at 1. So this deck starts at 0. I actually prefer the 0, and the reason why I have you guys so far away is to kind of give you a gist of the story that I read, and you can actually find the actual story in the book called Messages from the Archetypes. I will write that down, including the author name, in the description down below, so you have that information. So real quick, as you can see, there's some astrological correspondences here. In primary, the planet, this is Uranus. This is the symbol for Uranus. And that's where, again, we're going to get into another video about planetary correspondences, astrological correspondences. And if you actually see here, if I understand that correctly, that's Aramaic. I can't even begin to explain that to you. I haven't studied Aramaic symbols or Hebrew symbols in combination or association with tarot as of yet. So we're actually going to start now. The Fool here is a different interpretation than in traditional. In traditional, you'll actually find a man walking down a path, carrying a stick on his shoulder. But I just wanted to show you this one. You can actually go on Wikipedia or online and Google major arcana. There's a list of the major arcana on Wikipedia. But first, the Fool represents a new journey, new path, new, you know, new path in life, really. There's no other way to explain it. So when you're putting this down here, and you're looking at it as a story, you're looking at it as a young person starting something new, or not even a young person, just a person in general starting something new, a new path. They've learned everything they can possibly learn, so they have to take that knowledge on and move on to the future. And that's how that story begins, is a person moving on a new journey. The Magician, I love this imagery. This is number 1. The Magician in this deck is so beautiful. And as you can see, you have the wands, cups, swords, pentacles all here. It's all about to create, and you'll see this in a lot of different tarot decks where the Magician has all 4 suits with him. You can also find that in the Devil card in different decks, but again, I digress. The Magician's about to create, mastering, using what you learn to manifest knowledge, esoteric wisdom, etc., etc., etc. This is him utilizing his knowledge to further himself on his path. You know, The major arcana can also represent our journey in life or our journey through life. That's also the divine masculine. And again, before we move on, you can see here Mercury. Female symbol. Right there. Alright. As you can see, moon association for the High Priestess. And this one is just known as the Priestess, but High Priestess. This is divine feminine, a spiritual woman, a occult, esoteric information, intuition. Again, you have that moon symbolism there in the back. The hidden intuition, knowledge, deeper meaning. The Priestess. The Empress. The Empress is a great card, a great symbol for symbolism, for archetypal imagery that we talked about before. The Empress usually it can have a pregnant woman. She can be holding the baby like she is now. It's a great example of fertility, motherhood, connection to earth, opportunity. The Empress usually does represent motherhood, to take care of, to do a mother, to take care of yourself, to mother other people. The act of mothering is the Empress. The Emperor, as I'm sure you can tell in the opposing factor, would be fatherhood, to father, to lead, fair, just authority, to take control. It can also, as you can see with the two, whenever you have two like this, it usually represents a balancing, because to balance. If you combine this with the Justice card, which we'll get to in a second, the Justice card and this can represent a legal matter. Just like with the Empress and the Ace of Cups can represent motherhood or impending pregnancy. Just a little tip for you. The Emperor, to take control. So, as you can see, these are different aspects of ourselves. You have the Fool learning different parts of himself as he's moving forward. This card is not a traditional card. This is actually why I chose this deck to use. This is a great interpretive card, a great example of interpretation. The original card is known as the Hierophant. The Hierophant does represent faith. Yes, actually it does, but it also represents a spiritual leader, a traditional path, the traditional way, doing things by the book, following and living line in a straight arrow, or on the straight and arrow, and in moving forward. But this one is pretty self-explanatory. Faith. The man, he's wearing the monk robes, he's praying. It brings in that symbolism, that connotation, and that can change the interpretation of the card, but it still represents something similar to the Hierophant. So this is just a great example, and again, that's why I wanted to choose this deck as interpretive. The Hierophant, again, being the original card. And again, you can find those original cards online on Wikipedia, or again on videotarot.com, which I'm not affiliated with either of those websites. I had nothing to do with putting the information up on those websites, so kudos to those that did it. So it has the man learning through the esoteric, through the traditional, coming to a traditional path. Lover's card, we did go into interpretation of the Lover's card in the other deck, in the Gilded Tarot, and the example of symbolism and archetypal imagery that we did. As you can see, this is how this one differs from the Gilded Tarot. If you go back and watch that video, you'll see the Lover's card in the other deck. The Lovers, again, represents our loving relationships on the overall. It represents our lover, romantic relationship, family relationships, and represents friendship as well. So all different aspects of love. The Chariot, again, as we said before, movement forward. Anything with a vehicle represents movement forward. Positive movement forward. This is a general key word for the Chariot is positive movement forward, positive growth, positive transition, etc., etc., etc. Water. You've got the Cancer symbol up here. So very, very important to detail some of these things. Now, strength. In the traditional, it has the woman and a lion, not a tiger, and she's opening the mouth of the lion, holding it open through her own strength of will. This represents our internal strength. We have the strength to do. This is one of those cards that's very self-explanatory. That's sometimes why tarot is so beautiful. It's like kind of obvious what this means. It means strength. You are strong enough. You are capable enough. You are worthy. You can. It's within your power to do so. So, the Hermit, easily probably my favorite major arcana besides the Star and Temperance, which we will get to. The Hermit represents the old wise one. The Hermit can represent withdrawing into solitude to reflect, to learn within ourselves, to master the self, really. The Hermit, in solitude, in silence, we think we hermit ourselves to get a deeper connection to the truth, to wisdom, and to enlightenment. The Wheel. If you think of back in Greek mythology, the Fates, the Wheel of Fate, that's very, very much what the wheel is about. The wheel is the Wheel of Fate. As you can see, there's a lot of numerical symbolism. There is symbols here. The traditional wheel, again, doesn't look like this, but I just find the artwork so beautiful. I just wanted to share this deck with you. You have the dolphin symbolism. Dolphin in a lot of animal messages represents prana or mana, the breath of life, actually, which is very interesting. And I think that's why that's a good choice for this card. Breath, the turning of the wheel, time, fate, something set in motion. This can represent a domino effect. You can't turn the clock back is what this card can represent. And this can be a wonderful thing, or this can just be, you know, what's done is done. I oftentimes see this card for myself in my readings in a karmic association, but and by karmic I mean karma, a karma association, a karmic life lesson, a karmic experience, something that was meant to happen, something that was meant to be. So, but that's me, and that's my interpretation, and it's okay to make your own interpretation of the wheel, but that's where I really kind of take that interpretation. Let me make some room here. The wheel. Alright. Justice. Again, very self-explanatory. He's got the scales weighing. If you look back and you will see again the elemental correspondence of Libra, and Libra is what? Libra is the scales, or not the elemental, but the astrological. Libra being the scales, Justice being the scales. He's weighing, in a lot of the symbolisms, you'll see the heart and the feathers. So if you remember, again, some of your mythology, at the river Styx, and in Egyptian lore, the heart would be weighed against the feather to be deemed, to see if that person was worthy of entering the afterlife. And that's kind of what justice represents. Justice represents the weighing of the soul, our actions, our integrity, our karma. Again, this has got a lot of karmic association, but this can also, again, apply to a very, very real physical scenario of actual law, justice. moral justice, legal justice, etc., etc., etc. And usually when I see the justice card, especially, as I said, I read inverted, which is, again, upside down. So this is inverted, just as an example for those of you that are keeping up. Inverted, but upright. When I see justice, it's saying, you know, karma is being weighed. It's being doled out accordingly. And usually that's actually in the favor of the person I'm reading. But it does weigh your actions. You are accountable for that which you do. So, Justice card. Very, very good card. Very powerful card. I find it to be one of the strongest, most powerful cards there is. The Hanged Man. This is one of those cards that is not meaning the way it looks. Usually it's a man on a more religious symbol or a religious kind of hanging. But one of the things you want to know, excuse my feet, I'm stretching. One of the things you want to know about the Hangman, again, it's not the way it looks. Some people interpret this as a negative, some people interpret this as a positive. I interpret it as neither. I see this as very much the way it looks. He's suspended in motion. He's hanging there, just kind of hanging out. I know that's kind of funny, but it's literally the way I interpret it. I see this as a waiting period, as you are in the situation that you are in and there's no changing it. So that's the way I see the Hangman. Again, that's my own personal interpretation, and yes, it does very much connect. It does very much connect to that in traditional meaning as well. So, death. We covered that before. This one is a little bit darker than other death cards. Maybe you can say it that way. You have the astrological symbols here. You have the Aries, the Cancer, that looks like Capricorn, Taurus, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Gemini. Anyway, you get the drift. This is another interpretive card that kind of deviates away from the original card. Death, again, represents change. You have your little Scorpio up here. You can tell it's the Scorpio just as an FYI because of the little tail. If you think of Scorpio, you think of the stinger. Right. So, death, change, end of a cycle, end of a journey, endings, period, etc., etc., etc. It can represent communication with those that have crossed, actual literal death. There was a death that this person has experienced, which is part of their suffering in the moment now, or part of the reason why they're experiencing what they're experiencing now, because they did have an actual physical death or a physical loss. So, one of my favorite cards. This is also an interpretive card, Temperance, but this one is just beautiful. She is lovely. Rainbow represents a promise or a hope from spirit, healing. You have the mirror with the water, which is very much a gateway or a portal. You have the halo, bringing that down into, and I almost see this as bringing it down into the physical, healing from the spiritual into the physical. This card represents balance, because again, you have the two. Balance, calm, emotion, balance, calming the emotion, going with the flow. This is very much like a keep going, go with the flow, don't sweat it, don't force it, just let it happen kind of card. It's really so beautiful. I love this card so very much. Alright, we're getting to the end, guys. We have the Devil. This card, I actually appreciate this interpretation of the Devil card much more than traditional, because this guy looks like he's trapped. He can't see. He's free to leave at any point. Free to leave. He can go at any time. This is a perfect interpretation of the Devil card. As I said before in all of my other reading videos and how to read tarot, the Devil card is not literal. These are symbolic, these are metaphorical. It is the trappings of our own mind. We are our own demons. We are our own devil. We are creating this. We did this to us. We are the devil, not the devil. is the devil. We are the devil. We're the ones trapping ourselves. We are free. That fear is an illusion. This is a card of a fear and illusion. Now, the thing is, that can manifest many, 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 many different ways, that fear. I've seen this mean a lot of different things, ranging from control issues to escapism behaviors, and to some of the more not so nice stuff in life. But sometimes it's not super dark. Sometimes it's just somebody's letting their fear paralyze them, and it's keeping them from moving forward. So this has many different layers in depth and in severity, and most of the cards do, actually. So you don't have to take things so very seriously when you first see them. Look at the supporting cards around the card to really get a clear idea of how much is going on. Now, if you get several major arcana together, by the way, before we move on, together in a reading, that tends to amplify the importance of the message. So that's something to keep in mind when doing readings. The Tower. I can only explain the Tower in one way. The Tower is a sudden and catalytic change that shakes us to the cores of our foundation and allows us to see that we were not seeing things truly or accurately. There's a reason why the Devil card is the card in numbers. This is 15, this is 16, just before the Tower. Breaking through our illusion and breaking through our perception. It's like, think of a forest fire, but the forest is dead. It hasn't been alive for a very long time. It hasn't been thriving for a very long time. It's been years since there's been growth. A wildfire is sometimes what that forest needs. It needs to burn away that which is not growing, refertilize the soil and allow new growth. That's sometimes what wildfires do, and the Tower card is sudden and unexpected changes that lead to major life changes. A lot of people don't like the Tower. I have seen the Tower be a very positive change. It can be not so great things, but it's always guaranteed to be life altering. That I can say for the Tower. And the other thing you want to know about the cards that we think of as scary, life comes with ups and downs. That's what I explain to my clients that say they don't want to hear bad stuff. I can't censor what I see. I can guide you through it, but life will have its ups and downs, and that's going to be true no matter what. As you see the star, this is the bright, hopeful future. This is healing, promise, optimistic. This is one of the best cards I think anyone can tell you, can say that you would want this card. This is like wishes, dreams come true, most positive thing you can possibly ask for. And again, it comes right after the Tower. So you can move on, accept, grow, change, and lead to a bright future, or you can go back to the Devil and live in fear. The choice is ours. That's the big thing. The choice is ours. The Moon. Illusion. Psychic ability, intuition, that which is hidden and that which is unknown to us. The Sun. Will, strength, power, capability. Judgment. Again, kind of like justice, only it's about what we did. We're being weighed for what we're doing in our actions, what we have done. And the last one is the World. As you see all the elements coming together, everything that we could ask for, all at once. I know that's a very brief summary, but that is actually the general gist of each of those cards. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, hit the bell notification for more videos in the future, and don't forget to read the link down below for the name of that book that I was talking about, Messages from the Archetypes. It is a very great informational book, and I do highly recommend it. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to have you again. Have a blessed day. Bye, guys.